بهجة ابن الحسن صدقاتك عليه وعلى آبائك في هذه الساعة وفي كل صار وليجان وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها قليلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين وصل اللهم على محمد وآله الطاهرين وصل اللهم على محمد وآله الطاهرين صلوات थोड़ा फैल जाएं ताकि लोगों को पता चले हम ज़्यादा तादाद में हैं। थोड़ा थोड़ा एक जगह एकदम से कंसंट्रेट ना हो, आवाज़ पहुंचेगी। प्लीज स्प्रेड इट and please make a rows so we can see that the number of people around us.
औरतों से गुजारिश है, औरतों जो हैं वो अपनी रोज बना लें ताकि थोड़ा लंबे लंबे नजर आए।
We have now among us a great honorable speaker all the way from Seattle, from America, North America, Allama Sayyid Abbas Elia, and he would be addressing the rally today officially. Now he's been all over the world conveying the message of Emam Hussain, talking about the history of Islam, the peaceful history of Islam, and the message of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. He does not need any introduction from us because he's been among us for many years and he has been talking about the true message of Islam all over the world. We are lucky to have him today on the occasion of Ashura in the month of Muharram. With a loud salawat, may I welcome Allama Abbas Elia Sahab. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. We also have many other speakers, and indeed we need with a loud salawat the brother who came all the way from Iraq, from Najaf, who is with us as well, Maulana Al-Yusufi, Abbas Al-Yusufi. May I request Maulana Abbas Al-Yusufi to say a few words on the occasion of Emam Hussain, commemoration of Emam Hussain that has been in the program for the last few days. With a loud salawat for Maulana Abbas Al-Yusufi.
In the name of Allah, in the name of God, the Beneficent and the Merciful. All praise and thanks is for God, the Master of the Universe. It has been exactly 1,378 years that a man called Hussain, the son of Ali, and the grandson of the Holy Messenger of Islam, the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, stood close to the river Euphrates, near the oasis of Karbala, and he stood against tyranny, he stood against oppression, and he stood against the hijacking of Islam by certain individuals. The tyrant who he stood against was a man called Yazid. Through numerous political coups, he gained power over the Muslims and sought to hijack Islam and hijack the leadership of Islam. He ruled over the Muslims with tyranny, with oppression, and with suppression of the people. He twisted Islam to a version which is the predecessor of what we see coming from ISIS, coming from Daesh, coming from Al-Qaeda, and coming from the family of Al-Saud, and from the theology of Wahhabiyya and Salafiyya. But Emam Hussain alayhi salam stood against this tyranny. When everybody else stood silent, they stood quiet. There was a choice for Emam Hussain, either to live with disgrace under this tyrant or to fight against him. And he said, La billah, hayhat min billah. Through this tragedy, through this calamity that befell him, and befell the family of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he saved Islam. He saved the pristine and perfect teachings of the Prophet. And he gives us a number of lessons from this tragedy. Indeed, we can learn the whole meaning of life from this tragedy. Every lesson that Islam gives, we can learn from this tragedy. One lesson is that of mercy and clemency. Another lesson is that wherever there is an oppressed people, wherever there is an oppressed family, whenever there is an oppressed person around the world, we will fight for him. We will not stand idle while oppression is taking place in this world. And unfortunately, we are quick to point fingers at the non-Muslims. But we have amongst us wolves in sheep's clothing, and we must recognize them. And we thank the city of Dublin for allowing us to have this procession in commemorating Emam Hussain alayhi salam. But there are many countries around the world, many Muslim countries around the world where we can't do this. So we thank the government of the Republic of Ireland. We thank the city of Dublin for giving us this freedom, because we stand side by side with all peoples of all race, of all ethnicities, of all backgrounds in fighting against terrorism. Because when Emam Hussain alayhi salam, when the tyrant Yazid demanded him to pay allegiance to him, Emam Hussain gave a resounding no. And that rejection echoes until today. 1,378 years later, we stand here in Dublin, the people, the followers of Emam Hussain, from the Far East, from New Zealand through to Australia, across Asia, across the Middle East, and across the Western world, in all cities, all parts of the world, we stand out in the streets. We take out this procession in commemorating Emam Hussain alayhi salam, because in the message is a message of peace, the message of rejection to all forms of terrorism, a rejection to everything that Yazid stood for, which is now represented by the likes of ISIS, by the likes of Daesh, by the likes of Al-Qaeda, and by the likes of the Wahhabiyya movement, which is a cancer. It is a cancer in the Muslim Ummah, and it is increasing. And unfortunately, our governments are dealing with those people. They are making multi-million-dollar deals with such governments, and we plead to the government of Republic of Ireland and all governments across the world that you are dealing with Daesh, you are dealing with ISIS, and we say no to this as well. We reject this, just as Emam Hussain alayhi salam rejected Yazidiyyat in his time. We will also reject Yazidiyyat of this day, and we will reject any form of collusion with them. So with our cries to Emam Hussain, we say Labbaik Ya Hussain.
Labbaik Ya Hussain! Please show your presence. Labbaik Ya Hussain! Labbaik Ya Hussain! Labbaik Ya Hussain! Labbaik Ya Hussain!
When Emam Hussain stood on the battlefield in Karbala, he looked around him and saw that all of his companions have been sacrificed and he stood alone. And he cried out into the ethos that, is there a helper who will help me? And we say Labbaik Ya Hussain and say and make the statement that we are here. We are not there in Karbala, but we are dispersed across the world, and we will say Labbaik Ya Hussain in order to continue the message of Hussain and the mission of Hussain and the revolution of Hussain. Labbaik Ya Hussain!
Labbaik Ya Hussain! Labbaik Ya Hussain! Labbaik Ya Hussain!
Now I'd like to request a sister from the youth of our community who has prepared a short speech. Those sisters who are standing behind, please, are you the one? Yeah, please come forward and say a few words. Labbaik Ya Hussain!
Labbaik Ya Hussain! Labbaik Ya Hussain! Labbaik Ya Hussain!
Another year of mourning, another 10th Muharram. The whispers of who is Hussain are roaming through the streets. You wonder why we beat our chests and why we cry our tears. It makes us stronger, enough to face our fears. There's more to make our tears on Ashura, which means something. And spreading your message for humanity, in return we ask for nothing. Change. Grieving 10 days and after nothing we change. Forgetting Hussain, it's our own hearts we are crushing. Ashura may not relate to our daily hassle, but Hussein's Karbala wasn't just a battle. Today's Ashura is not of guilt and confession, but standing for justice when we see oppression. Blessed we are with the opportunity that we can gather together as a unity. May our Savior accept our letters and let us remember Ashura forever. Ashura rises near again, saluting your sacrifice and pain. Labbaik Ya Hussain.
Labbaik Ya Hussain! Labbaik Ya Hussain!
Labbaik Ya Hussain! Labbaik Ya Hussain! Labbaik Ya Hussain! Now this is the message that we've been cherishing for a very long time, because this message has a gravity. It has a gravity to shake the world. It has proven with those nations who have used this message effectively, they have shaken the world, and the biggest powers of the world have been receiving the message of Emam Hussain peacefully when it needs to be projected. We, the follower of Ahlul Bayt have made loud and clear that point that mankind requires sensibility, and the message of Emam Hussain, which was for the peaceful existence of mankind. He stood up against the tyranny. So don't be afraid of any powers who are supposed to be the biggest powers of the world. In the name of Islam, people have hijacked the name of Islam for the sake of their own benefits. Emam Hussain, the grandson of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, created that opportunity for entire mankind, the global world, to come and listen to his message, that if the peace message of Islam, the peaceful message of his grandfather has been projected and has been practiced in Islam, that would be the solution for the world. However, his voice has been cut down, his voice has been suppressed, his family and his children has been martyred in the plains of Karbala, the city which is known a lot of atrocities in recent time. The people who have sacrificed everything that they had stood against the biggest tyranny of our recent time, came out victoriously at the other end. Our recent history of Syria has proven again the soldiers of Emam Hussain, who had fought tooth and nail to suppress these rising atrocities of ISIS and all those people who are violating the name of Islam, are victorious today. Iraq is victorious. At that time, it is victorious now. And we, the follower of Ahlul Bayt, say this loud and clear, Labbaika ya Hussain. Labbaika ya Hussain. We raise the banner of Emam Hussain. This is the flag of Emam Hussain, the son of Ali, the grandson of Prophet Muhammad, who stood against the atrocities and the greatest injustice, oppression. Oppression is something that is not acceptable. We have seen the rally just now, the biggest rally in Ireland, against the oppression of women and the violation of women's rights that has occurred, and many innocent women are dying right now. That is the voice raised by the crowd you just witnessed. Similarly, wherever the atrocities occurred against the mankind, we remember Emam Hussain. We remember every year, all over the world, in Ireland, the small community which is growing, it is no longer small. We are saying the message of Emam Hussain on the 10th day of Muharram. May I now request a speaker that I've been waiting to listen, you all, a speaker all the way from North America, our respected scholar, Abbas Elias, please come forward and say a few messages and few talks to the occasion of Ashura. Salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Labbaik ya Hussain. 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 Labbaik ya Hussain.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وآله الطاهرين اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد واللعنة الدائمة على أعدائهم أجمعين. All the praise belongs to Allah, the Almighty, the only one, our Creator, and peace be upon all the prophets of God, starting from Prophet Adam, Prophet Noah, Prophet Abraham, Prophet Moses, Prophet Jesus, Virgin Mary, and finally the seal of all the messengers of God, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him and his family. We are the proud followers of the final messenger of God, who believe in all the previous prophets and the final messenger and the family of the progeny of the Holy Prophet called Ahlul Bayt. We are the Shias and the followers of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, who have gathered here to commemorate the biggest sacrifice and the biggest revolution in the history of humankind, and the martyrdom of the leader of all the martyrs of the history of humanity, Sayyid al-Shuhada, Emam Hussain, the son of Ali, alayhim as-salatu was-salam.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Today we are here to commemorate the victory of Jesus Christ. Today we are here to commemorate the victory of Virgin Mary. We are here today to commemorate the victory of Moses. We are here to commemorate the victory of Prophet Abraham and Prophet Adam and every other prophet of God. Because our Emam Hussain is the true inheritor of all the prophets. And this is what we say in his ziyarah, Assalamu alayka ya warisa Adam safwatillah. Peace be upon you, who is the inheritor of Adam, the chosen one of Allah. Assalamu alayka ya warisa Nuhin nabiyillah. Salam be upon you, the inheritor of Noah, the prophet of God. Assalamu alayka ya warisa Musa kalimillah. Peace be upon you, the inheritor of Moses, to whom Allah talked. Assalamu alayka ya warisa Isa ruhillah. Peace be upon you, the inheritor of Jesus, the Spirit of Allah. So we are here to commemorate the victory of all those messengers and prophets of God. And Emam Hussain is their true inheritor, who protected and preserved the values and teachings of all the prophets in its totality, in its original and pure form. We are here to commemorate the victory of Torah. We are here to commemorate the victory of Bible and the Gospel that was revealed on Prophet Jesus. We are here to commemorate the victory of the Holy Quran, the final word of God, because Emam Hussain personifies the teachings of all the Holy Scriptures. When Emam Hussain was asked to do the oath of allegiance to the biggest oppressor of his time, Yazid, son of Muawiyah, la'natullahi alayhima, Emam Hussain what did he say? Emam Hussain said, Inna ahlu baytin nubuwa. We are the household of prophethood. Wa mukhtalaful malaika. That means the place where the angels come, and mahbatul wahi, and the place of descending of the revelation. That means the revelation of God descends on this household, the household of the Prophet and his progeny. And وَيَزِيدُ رَجُلٌ شَارِبُ الْخَمْرِ, whereas Yazid is a person who is شَارِبُ الْخَمْرِ, قَاتِلُ النَّفْسِ الْمُحْتَرَمَةِ, killer of the innocent life, killer of the honorable life. Islam honors the humankind. Islam honors and values the human life. This is the reason why we denounce all the terrorism in the entire world. Doesn't matter who the person is, the perpetrator of the crime. We are here to condemn all the terrorists in all the world, in all the corners of the world, be it Al-Qaeda or Taliban or ISIS and all those evil people like Boko Haram in Nigeria. And terrorism has no religion, and it's a mistake for the mainstream media to relate terrorism to any faith, because there is no faith in the world that can justify the killing of the innocent people. So this gathering gathered here to commemorate the sacrifice of Emam Hussain condemns all the terrorists in all corners of the world, and denounce their financiers, those House of Saud brutal, undemocratic regime in Saudi Arabia, who have been financing these terrorists in the world and exporting their fatwa of takfir, calling everyone else to be an infidel. Who gave them the license to call anyone else to be an infidel? And we denounce their Zionist bosses who have been supporting these House of Saud criminals, undemocratic House of Saud cult, which has been exporting terrorism in the whole world and defaming my faith, the faith which is the faith of justice and peace called Islam. Islam is a religion that stands for justice, peace and values. Islam is a religion that asks me and you to respect our neighbors. The message of Islam is to respect our Christian neighbors. We ask our community to respect their Christian neighbors, their Jewish neighbors, their neighbors belonging to any faith, because my religion teaches me to respect the humankind. My religion teaches me to stand for peace and integrity. Emam Hussain alayhi salam said that misli la yubayi'u mislahu. After defining the profile of the evil Yazid ibn Muawiyah, he says that a person like me is not going to do the oath of allegiance towards a person like him. That means the evil Yazid, the tyrant of that time. This is the universal message of Emam Hussain alayhi salam. That means throughout the generations, till the day of judgment, till the last day of earth, every human being, whether he's a Muslim, be him a Muslim or a non-Muslim, if he is serious about his spirituality, if he is a man of conscience, he will honor the universal humane message of Emam Hussain, which is denouncing the oppression of every oppressor. If you agree with that, say Labbaika ya Hussain.
Labbaika ya Hussain. Labbaika ya Hussain. Labbaika ya Hussain. Labbaika ya Hussain.
We never give in to any oppression, because our leader Emam Hussain has taught us hayhat min zillah.
Hayhat min zillah. Hayhat min zillah. Hayhat min zillah. Hayhat min zillah.
Which means that humiliation and insult is far away from me. Never to humiliation. We will never give in to humiliation. We will never accept to get humiliated. A dignified human can die for his cause, then can die for his faith, can die for the noble cause and the values, but will never give in to humiliation. These are the great values of Emam Hussain that makes him universal. Emam Hussain is not just the leader of Muslims. Emam Hussain is the leader of entire humanity, because the message that he delivered on the 10th day of the Islamic calendar month of Muharram, which we are commemorating today in downtown Dublin, Ireland, the message of Emam Hussain does not belong to Muslims only, it belongs to the entire humankind.
Labbaika ya Hussain. Labbaika ya Hussain. Labbaika ya Hussain.
Imam Hussain says that, so why doesn't Imam Hussain agree to accept humiliation? He says, Ya Allahu dhalika lana wa rasuluhu wal mu'minun wa hujuran tabat wa tahurat. Allah and His Messenger does not agree for Imam Hussain alayhi salam to accept this humiliation. وَحُجُورًا طَابَتْ وَتَهُرَتْ, and those of the laps that are pure and purified and clean. Imam Hussain is referring to his great mother, Sayyidatun Nisa'il Alameen, the leader of all the women of paradise from the earlier generations and the later generations, our Lady Fatima, the daughter of Prophet Muhammad. So we have been raised in the lap of mothers like Sayyidah Fatima alayhi salam, who doesn't agree for us to accept humiliation. So this is the awareness. When you stand for your values, when you give life for your faith, when you take a stand for the sake of the haqq and righteousness, even if your body is massacred, your message will survive. And this is what Samahatul Wali al-Faqih, the Islamic leader, has said, As-sahwatu la tuqma'. That means the awareness can never be killed. You can kill the body of Emam Hussain, but can you kill the message of Emam Hussain? You can never kill the message of Emam Hussain. Emam Hussain and Islam's message is there to survive forever, because everything that Emam Hussain did was for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَمَا لِلَّهِ يَنْمُو. When you do something for Allah, Allah is the one who makes sure that message remains forever. Say labbaika ya Hussain if you agree.
Labbaika ya Hussain! Labbaika ya Hussain! Labbaika ya Hussain! Labbaika ya Hussain!
Our job as the followers of Emam Hussain, following on its footsteps, is to obey the teachings and the values of Emam Hussain, to uphold the policies of Emam Hussain in our life, to apply and implement his values and principles in our everyday lives. And we are going to transform this world into for good. If the people of this world follow the footsteps of Emam Hussain, we would be living in a different world. So we, each one of you, respectable brothers and sisters, is obliged to follow the footsteps of Sayyidah Zainab, because she's the one who defended and protected the message of Emam Hussain alayhi salam. If you agree, say Labbaiki ya Zainab!
Labbaika ya Zainab! Labbaika ya Zainab! Labbaika ya Zainab! Labbaika ya Zainab!
We don't care about the results. We care about our fariḍa and duty towards Allah. We don't care about the results. If remember, Imam Ar-Rahil Ridwanullahi alayhi has said, ما مكلف بوظيفة من نتيجة. نحن مكلفون بالوظيفة لسنا مكلفين بالنتيجة. Right? We are obliged to focus on our fariḍa and duty and not to, pay attention to the result. Imam Hussain alayhi salam never paid attention to those results. Right? So he got killed. His family got martyred. Imam Hussain got martyred. The rest of the family members were captured. But we believe, rightfully so, that Imam Hussain as-salam was the most successful person in his life and is the most successful person even after his martyrdom. Why? Because Imam Hussain did his fariḍa and duty towards Allah. In Islam of Ahlul Bayt, we don't care about the result of this dunya. We care about whether a person performed his duty towards Allah or not. If you agree with that, say Labbaika ya Hussain.
Labbaika ya Hussain! Labbaika ya Hussain! Labbaika ya Hussain!
This kind of universal message obliges me and you to take a stand for all the oppressed people. If there is any sort of oppression taking place in any corner of the world, we have to take a stand and we have to raise our voice and we will denounce the oppressor, no matter who the oppressor is, be it the oppression in the occupied Palestine, be it the oppression taking place against the innocent civilians, the men, women and children in Yemen, by the House of Saud's illegal bombings taking place against that nation, be it the oppression taking place in Bahrain. And we have our great scholars, Ayatollah Isa Qasim and Sheikh Salman, who are being tortured and jailed and punished for being the human rights activists in those countries, standing for democracy and freedom. Be it the oppression taking place in Al-Awamiyya in Saudi Arabia, or the rest of the East Saudi Arabian provinces against the followers of Ahlul Bayt, or the oppressions taking place by ISIS stooges of the Zionist lobby who have been slaughtering the Christians in Iraq. They have been slaughtering the Sunnis. They have been slaughtering the Shias, the followers of Ahlul Bayt in Iraq, or the ISIS in Syria who has been slaughtering the innocent civilians in Iraq.
or be it the oppression in Pakistan or Afghanistan or any other, or Nigeria and Zaria or anywhere else in the world, we as the followers of Ahlul Bayt proudly condemn the oppression done by every oppressor in every corner of the world. If you agree, say Labbaik Ya Hussain.
Labbaik Ya Hussain. Labbaik Ya Hussain. Labbaik Ya Hussain. Labbaik Ya Hussain.
The message of Emam Hussain is the message of haqq and righteousness. We are supposed to accept the haqq and the truth, no matter who says it, no matter when you learn about it, doesn't matter. You have to agree, you have to accommodate, you have to support, you have to stand for the haqq and righteousness and oppose the batil and falsehood. This is what Emam Hussain stood for. So a follower of Emam Hussain is the follower of righteousness. A follower of Emam Hussain is a follower of the human divine values. A follower of Emam Hussain will care about the morality, because there are some politicians in the world who think if it works, it's okay to do, if it works for their agendas. Whereas in Islam of Ahlul Bayt, we believe that if you want to adopt a policy, the first thing you need to think of, is it moral to do that? If it is immoral, we are never going to do that, because my religion teaches me that goals never justify the means. If your goal is good, every step of the way that you are treading has to be haqq and truth and righteousness, unpermissible and moral, because Islamic message is the message of morality. So Emam Hussain alayhi salam, even though he was left alone, even though there was no other supporter remaining for Emam Hussain, but he never bent, he did not compromise over his values. So finally Emam Hussain was surrounded in the field of Karbala, and Sayyid ibn Ta'us says in Kitab al-Lahuf, I have to read some masa'ib. This is about Emam Hussain. I won't let you go until we cry over Emam Hussain, because crying over Emam Hussain is a value that we love to transfer to our generations. Al-buka'u ala al-Hussain. Man baka aw abka. In some narration they say, aw tabaka wajibat lahu al-jannah. Anyone who cries or makes others cry, paradise becomes wajib upon him. So we have to cry over Emam Hussain. That's our value. Right? This is not a cry of timidity or cowardice. This cry is a cry that transforms our inner. So we get revolutionized so we can take a stand for the righteousness and support the oppressed people and oppose the oppressors, and make sure this world transforms into a world of peace and justice for every human being regardless of his faith. So Emam Hussain was surrounded, and Sayyid ibn Ta'us says that Emam Hussain alayhi salam, somebody who had an arrow, he started to throw an arrow on Abi Abdullah Hussain. Somebody who had a spear, he attacked Emam Hussain with a spear. And somebody who had nothing but rock and stone, they started to throw rocks over Emam Hussain. إِذْ أَصَابَهُ حَجَرٌ عَلَى جَبْهَتِهِ. One stone hit the forehead of Emam Hussain Islam. فَأَخَذَ الثَّوْبِ لِيَمْسَحَ الدَّمْ عَنْ جَبْهَتِهِ. Imam Hussain grabbed the cloth to wipe the blood from his forehead. إِذْ أَصَابَهُ سَهْمٌ مَسْمُومٌ ذُو ثَلَاثِ شُعَبٍ. That was the time that a three-pointed poisoned arrow was thrown at the heart of Emam Hussain alayhi salam. Look at the courage of my Mawla Aba Abdullah al-Hussain. فَأَخْرَجَ السَّهْمَ مِنْ وَرَاءِ ظَاهِرِهِ. He took this arrow out from behind his back. فَخَرَجَ الدَّمْ كَأَنَّهُ مِيزَابٌ. Blood gushed out as if it was a spout of blood coming out of his body. And he said to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you know they are killing that person who is the only, in other words, who is the only son of the daughter of your messenger. Imam Hussain is the only son of Fatima surviving, and they are now going to kill the son of Fatima. Imam Hussain alayhi salam sustained so many injuries when he was alone that when he fell down, the Zuljanah realized, the horse realized that my Mawla is about to fall down. The horse kneels down to facilitate the Imam falling on the ground. But Imam Hussain is still not on the ground. Imam Hussain al-Salam's body is actually raised over the arrows. The body of Abi Abdullah al-Hussain is still over the arrows. And finally, Sayyidah Zainab is the one who had been helping Imam Hussain on all occasions. She is the only one who comes at that time as well. She comes to tell us Zainabiyya, and she stands there and did not go silent against the atrocities of Umar ibn Sa'ad. She speaks up against the oppression of the oppressor, and she says, "Yuqtalu Abu Abdullah wa anta tanzuru ilayh." Imam Hussain is being killed, in other words, and you are watching. So Imam Hussain, in the final moments, was Shimru jalisun ala sadrihi. Shimr was sitting over the chest of Imam Hussain and slaughtering my Mawla from behind his neck. Imam Hussain, as soon as he realized this is the beginning time, awwal al-waqt for the Asr prayers. Look at the values of Imam Hussain. He puts his forehead on the ground to perform his prayers in the final moments. Bismillah wa billah wa fi sabilillah wa ala millati Rasulillah. Assalamu ala al-Hussain wa ala Ali ibn al-Hussain wa ala awlad al-Hussain wa ala ashab al-Hussain.
أحسنتم.